Here, read this.
Woof.
Hello, it's the 24th of March 2026, and here is your poem for the day. It's another selection from this collection from Maurice, Lindsay, Speaking Likenesses. The collection he released just after his last poems, as discussed on yesterday's edition. And this poem is called the Anti-Foodie. So, as usual, I'll read through the poem in full and then talk a little bit about it at the end. So here we go. The Anti-Foodie by Maurice, Lindsay. Unlike you, I eat to live, not live to eat, the little executive sourced out of the room, well satisfied that he'd been able to give his cap of argument a kind of plume. I thought of how he strove to advance his rank, the effort wizening his worried brow, and how, with his superiors, he drank only pure water, since he couldn't allow indulgence flavour Calvin's witnessed creed, unlike the French, whose cooking was, he'd claim, the elevation of our animal need into a sensual, time-consuming game. I thought of the things that mattered most in life, good health and music, books and plays, great art, but above all, a warmly loving wife, and children of whom both of you are part. Sitting around the table at their food, their appetites maturing from shrill cries of, "Must I eat this? It isn't any good," to, "Mum, that's wizzo, what a great surprise." And, as the world upon their shoulders turns, their palates sharpened with the critic's tool, comparison, as haggis was to Burns, delight in what they like becomes the rule. O little men, for whom the yielding feel of human pleasure's weakness to deplore, oysters, oatcakes, and salmon for a meal, I'll down you in a pledge of smooth Bowmore. Bowmore is whiskey, in case you're wondering. I got a strong flavour from this foodie poem of Roald Dahl. I don't know if that will come across to anybody else. Something about the smug little executive and his trivial brain, rebuked in this hymn, this celebration of pleasurable scoffing. Also reminiscent of Dahl is the somewhat patriarchal vision of the home, the good little wife and the kids with their antique slang, wizzo. The executive, I felt, could be an executive of Huel, the makers of the grey sustenance fluid that's supposed to replace a meal. Felt quite prescient in a way, this poem, when you think of our kind of cultural neurosis about consumption, rounding on perhaps the wrong aspect of indulgence, the quality as opposed to the quantity, people trying to isolate the functional side of pleasure and ignoring the fact that the functionlessness of pleasure is part of what makes it pleasurable. You can sort of see how the executive's Calvinist self-denial shades into the machine-like self-improvement of today, where people don't read books for pleasure but to extract their nutritional value. I do also love that the executive, having preached functionality over the sensuous, time-consuming frippery of enjoying food, is made slyly hypocritical by the way Lindsay presents him, sourcing out of the room, well satisfied that he'd been able to give his cap of argument a kind of plume. So there you have it. That is your poem for today, The Anti-Foodie by Maurice, Lindsay. My glasses are falling down my face, so I'm going to try and wrap this up. Thank you very much for listening. Nope, there they go, and I will see you tomorrow.